Ago, 5 important pieces of Memorial Park went missing. It was one round of several bronze thefts that have happened in the metro over the past few months.
Bronze vases were stolen from a cemetery over the summer, and earlier today we brought you the news of bronze and brass letters being stolen from the Omaha National Cemetery. Well, First Alert 6's Zena Taher explains the plaques stolen at Memorial Park are back.
Memorial Park.
These are all some of my buddies.
It's a fitting name for a place full of David Austin's memories. He's the City of Omaha Park's operations supervisor.
This one has my grandfather's name on it.
His grandpa was a veteran and raised funds for this park.
Taking it upon myself to kind of spearhead some of these operations and some of these restorative efforts and security measures.
Security measures made necessary when 5 of the bronze plaques that were integral to the park were stolen months ago. They were likely sold to a scrapyard by the thieves.
I'm looking for my dad.
Trudy Van Camp sees it as an injustice to veterans who risked their lives. Her father and her husband both served.
These things are to honor their service and sacrifice, and then somebody would come and, steal, or desecrate, or it's unthinkable.
I mean, it's a particular breed of scumbag that wants to come and steal war memorials.
The Parks Department worked to recreate the stolen plaques.
They did them from old photos that luckily people had taken of these. And so some of the local historians helped with that.
It took months to make them.
Out of a aluminum and composite material. And I think they turned out really good, but they're not worth anything at the scrapyard.
For Dave, replacing the plaques is about honoring veterans' sacrifices just as much as it is about carrying on his grandfather's work.
So those new replacement plaques, they're supposed to cost $33,000 if they ended up using bronze ones, but with that aluminum material, it was $7,000. And they're also hoping people won't steal them because they're worth a lot less.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I know that the Parks Department just finished installing those this week, but it was important to have them done by today, right?
Yeah, because today was the day of the annual Veterans Shine On lighting ceremony at the park, and Trudy was even there with her friends tonight.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, you couldn't have beat that timing at all.
No, it worked out.
Zena, thank you.